Film or movie?
Do not go in there. Woo!
Film or movie?
There's no crying in baseball.
La film or la movie?
Uncle Jonathan's corncob pipe.
Film
Movie
or movie? Film. Movie.
Nice beaver.
Film or movie?
Film or movie? Go.
Well, I attended Juilliard. I'm a graduate of the Harvard Business School. I travel quite extensively. I lived through the Black Plague, and I had a pretty good time during that.
film.
Film or movie?
Yeah, but Mr. Brown, that's a little too close to Mr. Shit.
Welcome to Film or Movie, the cinema review podcast that dares to ask the question, is it a film or is it a movie? And moreover, what does that even mean?
That's actually a misstatement. Is it art or is it entertainment? That's the new tagline.
But that's the same thing, film or movie.
But it's also asking, is it a film or is it a movie?
Well, it's in the title.
As most of you know, Ian Gottler barnacled his way onto this podcast. It was originally a three-man.
I was not expecting to hear
And he went
barnacled as
full
a
barnacle, and the ship had already sailed. So what are you gonna do? But you guys get the point. Tony, I guess the host, Ian, who you heard from, our good friend Pete Monroe, the film of Film or Movie, and then our good friend Rob Kirkovich, maybe the movie. Of
I'll take it.
Of Film or
Yeah,
Movie.
sure.
Okay, so today we are reviewing Silver Linings Playbook, which is the new film written and directed by David O. Russell, based on the book of the same name, penned by Matthew Quick. So in Silver Linings Playbook, Pat, who's played by Bradley Cooper, has just been released after 8 months in a state mental institution. He was there on a plea bargain because of an incident involving his wife, and now that he's out and living with his parents, Jackie Weaver and Robert De Niro, he's focused on rebuilding his life and winning her back. His parents just want to see him mentally stable, and his father is convinced that if he can get Pat to watch and care for the Eagles, the Philadelphia Eagles that is, the way that he does, that his bookie business will get a lucky bump. When Pat meets Tiffany, played by Jennifer Lawrence, a recent widow with problems of her own, he sees her as the key to reconnecting with his wife. Tiffany agrees to help Pat, provided he reciprocates by becoming her dance partner for an upcoming competition. That's the best recap yet.
Is that
And
the longest?
No, it's written by Daddy. We're going to start right away with the reviews, and we're going to start with Mr. Rob Kirkovich. Rob, what did you think about Silver Linings Playbook?
I'd like to say this about film or movie real quick. Why it's so awesome for me personally is that it gets me out of the house, gets me seeing films that I normally wouldn't see in favor of just watching RoboCop again. And it makes me think analytically in a way, because usually I'm a kind of guy that's either I love this movie or I hate this movie, or I love this sandwich or I hate this sandwich. You know, it's all or nothing with Kirk. Now, all that being said, this forces me with Silver Linings Playbook to get a little bit more kind of half and half on it, which is where I'm falling. Right. I'm going to call Silver Linings Playbook a Three Mucks movie. To be honest, from the majority of the movie, I really did not like it. I don't know why. I was having some issues personally that day. I was having some body issue problems. I was in a bad mood when I got to the...
Let's go into that a little more. Let's go into the body.
I had gotten a jean jacket from J. Crew in the mail, and it didn't fit right, and I started getting real upset.
But you're not, for those of you who can't see Rob, which is all
fault.
of you, Rob is not, nor has he ever been, a fat person. So
right.
Was that the problem?
Yeah,
it was
I thought
too
it was a
big?
body
It was too big. It
identity
was too
issue.
baggy on me. I felt like I was swimming in it, and then I started getting upset that I can't buy regular clothes for regular humans. It was a whole
this
thing.
a child's jacket?
No, it was a men's medium, which apparently...
And so the movie paid the price.
So part of the movie, yeah. I definitely got off on the bad foot. I mean, I'll say this about the movie. I love David O. Russell for the most part. I've loved a lot of his films. They are films, I would call them. This one, I just felt like it... That
was the 2-minute mark.
It was we hit 2 minutes, and all I covered was a jean jacket.
We're using a timer today, folks, to try to spare you.
I'll say this. My biggest problem with the movie was that I felt there were scene after scene of characters saying exactly what they felt nonstop. And I get that there's an argument to be made that, well, we're talking about the two main characters are both have like emotional / chemical imbalances, and so they should, of course they're going to just be unfiltered and say what they want. But I felt like right from the get-go, with even their first scenes together, they're immediately almost having like these Oscar moments or something where they're talking about who they really are and what they really feel and all this stuff, and it just felt very big and a little too much too soon and not earned. Bradley Cooper, to be honest, didn't really blow me away. Neither did Jennifer Lawrence. I thought De Niro did a great job. It was great to see Chris Tucker back in the mix. And to be honest, the movie won me over with the way that it handled the ending.
So we're going to move right along to Pete's review of
All right.
Silver Linings Playbook. Pete, what did you think?
Okay. Let me start off by saying that I'm also a sucker for David O. Russell. Even I Heart Huckabees, which most people didn't enjoy, I did. I think Russell operates on he's kind of like the opposite end of the spectrum of someone, say, like Ron Howard, who hasn't made a memorable film since Willow.
It's conjecture.
Which does not hold up, by the way.
What I think this could have been a story full of cliches and sugar-coated Hollywood cynicism is instead silver-lined, pun intended, with constant subtleties revealing hilarious character neuroses.
All right, Pete, hold on. I'm going to get you out of your notes.
Oh, God.
Hit me with it.
You're just going word for word.
Hold on. I'm going to get... You're doing fine. I'm going to get you out of your notes. Movie or film and the rating. I want that right.
It's I gave it a 4 Mux movie.
You gave it a 4 Mux movie.
Yeah, I really liked. I don't think he's trying to reinvent the wheel. It's a romantic dramedy. I think he's just making the wheel interesting, and the characters. I liked how everybody was always constantly talking over each other. It's like it's stylized dialogue, but not super hip like Tarantino or something. It's like I always feel like whenever I'm watching a David O. Russell movie, I get his personality in the movie. Like I'm hearing his voice very clearly, and in like a season of movies romantic comedies that are everything that Gerard Butler or Katherine Heigl does, I think this was a really smart, witty, intelligent film that I thought had really interesting characters that I was really interested in seeing what happened to. Although it did go to a place that was rather cliche, I didn't mind that it went there because it still gave me something satisfying and entertaining, which is why if it maybe avoided that ending, I would have given it a film. But I really enjoyed myself thoroughly throughout the entire thing, and that's all I'll say because you guys told me.
Nice and concise.
Yeah,
That's clean cut, and that's right at 2 minutes. Let's move right on to Ian Gottler's review.
Silver Lining Playbooks.
Silver Linings Playbook.
Silver Linings Playbook. I would say, I guess you give the review first. I'm going to go with a 3 Mux movie, but I would have potentially given it a 3.5.
What were some of the things you didn't like about it, Ian?
Well, for me, the thing that took it right out of film is there were too many movie devices. So many cliche movie devices. I wrote some of them down. To end a movie with a dance number, I mean, Dirty Dancing did it. I don't know if I need to see it again. I think there could have been another way for them to show their love come together without the cliche of a dance at the end.
I couldn't disagree with you more. I thought they did such a great job with the ending by making, I don't want to blow it too much, but it's more akin to Little Miss Sunshine. The way that they dance at the end.
Right, where it's going to happen. Oh, you're saying the dancing part.
Yeah, but that too. What's going to happen, but they have a lot of fun with it. It's not crisp and clean the way that Dirty Dancing was. It's beautiful in all of its mess,
right,
just like the characters.
Yeah.
And I thought it was one of the most redeeming. Anytime a movie can do that, and people applaud in our theater, people applauded when they finished their dance.
Right.
In our theater, people applauded when they finished their dance. And I think anytime a movie can take a cliched element like that and still pull it off, which I think they did, and which, a lot of people are obviously thinking they did, that it has a 90 on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think they did a good job with it, and you definitely raised some good points. I like that they didn't do the cliche dance numbers, and they were up against professional dancers. That helped. I don't know, just for me, I don't want to see that device in the movie. I also don't want to see, to me, Chris Tucker's part, I love him, but didn't even need to be in the movie. I didn't even think Chris Tucker really did anything, didn't help the movie go forward at all. It felt like a device that they were putting in because a studio told them they should add this element to the movie. Another thing that I wasn't totally down with was, the end of the movie has that Bridget Jones's Diary ending where they're on this empty street with the perfect lighting and then they kiss, in that setting. And to me, again, it's David O. Russell. I'm sure that was the more potentially cinematic way to do it, but I would have liked to see it go a little grittier.
You would rather them not get together. There's two options at the end of that movie. They either get together Or they don't get together and they're friends.
Or get together, totally fine. Have that kiss right outside the theater. Don't go into the back alley that's perfectly lit with nobody standing on it, and then have that cinematic movie moment, and then the long back shot of them looking at it.
It's gonna be cheesy no matter what when they get together. It doesn't matter what you do. I can't think of any romantic comedy
alley
that
by
ends
themselves to have this moment.
Well, here's what I would say about the way that it's shot and the dance specifically. We were talking about this with David O. Russell. I feel like, with the exception of Spanking the Monkey, which we'll get to, in terms of, I feel like O. Russell, for the most part, makes Hollywood movies. What's great about him is that he makes Hollywood movies that are completely left of center. Like,
yeah, they're smart.
This was him saying, I want to make a romantic comedy. And so you get it's still kind of gonna end the same way, but at least that dance is presented in such a way where he's like jump cutting throughout the dance. You don't actually see the whole dance. The way that they shoot it and the way that they film it is so like just a little left of center,
sloppy.
And same thing with exactly. And the same thing with like Three Kings. It's him saying, I want to make a war movie, but it ends up being Three Kings. Right. I want to make a boxing sport movie. That's the fighter. You know?
Here's the thing.
Really quick, hold on. And I also want to say, like, just the premise of these two people showing up. This is actually why I found it enjoyable at the ending, even though it was kind of cliche. Just the premise of them going up against these professional dancers who look amazing and they're like embracing the fact that they got a 5. It's like, what a great way to.
Well, they're also embracing the fact that they got.
If you haven't seen the movie yet,
they also embrace the fact
that
they get this score because of the bet that is placed on it, which is not only about the success of them, but succeeding for the family and this whole thing, which I don't want to go into. But
well, you could make an argument that is a little contrived. That they needed some stakes for this dance, so out of nowhere they come up.
Yeah,
with a
that's
bet
a little contrived.
right at the end of
that
the
whole scene goes on to. Anyway,
Yeah.
I also want to talk about some stuff. I always talk about the acting, at least for the last two I have. So I wanted to do my acting shout out. Thank God for Jennifer Lawrence. I didn't care about this movie like Kirk did until she even showed up. I wasn't down. And then she kind of came into it and breathed this life into it and had all of this just incredibly subtle work. And it
sports bra.
And
subtle sports bra work.
Great sports bra acting.
It was incredible, her running. I also want to talk about two other guys. The guy who plays his friend, John Ortiz.
Oh, yeah.
Really fun fact about this. Started... he's a co-founder of the Labyrinth Theater Company, which is Philip Seymour Hoffman's company in New York, which I thought was kind of cool. And I love that moment. They finally give De Niro a moment where he's on the bedside and he gets to just have that moment with Bradley Cooper. That's some of the best De Niro that I've got to see him do in a romantic comedy.
Yeah.
Since he started doing romantic comedies.
When Bradley Cooper's in bed and he comes up to him.
Yeah, and he has that father-son moment with him.
See, that scene to me is one of the things that I was talking about, where I felt like out of nowhere he starts talking about how he was as a father.
Yeah.
And it just felt like that was just one in a string of several scenes where,
Yeah,
apropos of nothing, he's talking about what he's really like.
No,
he could
but
have that conversation about football, and it could be about him not being a good dad. But instead, it just comes right out and is like an overt.
No, but see, to me, that was the point. He was using that. To me, that felt a little like he was using that because he wanted to get him on the couch and watching the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
So he knew that that's kind of where
He had to lure him.
Yeah, so he had to lure him in a bit
with his real feelings, his true feelings.
I give it. I'm just gonna. I give it a 4 Mucks movie. I really enjoyed it. I thought Bradley Cooper was great.
I was just about to ask.
I thought Bradley Cooper was fantastic. I thought that he really, really captured the psychoanalytical, obsessive, compulsive problems. And moreover, David O. Russell did. I felt like the way that the movie was shot, it felt like how Bradley Cooper's character was thinking.
Well,
it gives him great subjectivity.
It's so rapid fire.
Yeah,
like it's just scene.
Yeah,
it's not really that style. I mean, that is the style. I think is just that kind of handheld, like very subjective. Placing you with the characters and letting you feel what they're feeling.
Yeah, and so I thought more often than not it was successful. I think the reason it was a movie was that you did kind of see where it was going. Mm-hmm. But I thought that you were dealing with real dysfunctional people with real problems, but they were done in a funny way. Yeah. Bradley Cooper's character has a song that
My Cherie Amour.
My Cherie Amour, thank you. I was going to get to that. That basically. I
was worried you were going to hide the name of the song like that was a spoiler, but we
no.
win and get together.
It sets off this tick with him that all of the reasons that it happens, and it shows you a flashback, and I'm not going to build into that, of what happened and why that song is a tick for him, are very, very serious, and it deals with big issues, but because it's Sharia Moore, and because the way that portion is handled, it becomes more of a dark comedy. We're gonna do a quick lightning round. This one penned by Kirk.
I feel the need for speed.
Okay, first one, Tony. You're getting the first lightning round.
Go.
Ready?
Yes.
The Natural.
Movie.
The Wrestler.
Film.
The Fighter.
Film.
Ladybugs.
Movie.
Sweet Giggle. Any Given Sunday.
Crappy movie.
All right, you see, those are all sports.
I know, that was great. That was
cool.
themed. I
At
may
first,
just put you in charge.
The first
of
three were all and then I ran out of this. All right, Pete.
All right. Hit me.
Film or movie? Ready?
Go.
Downfall.
Is that
Michael
the Hitler
Keaton.
one?
That's the Hitler one.
No.
Oh.
Haven't
it's Falling
seen it.
Down.
Should I do Falling Down instead?
It's a film, just so you know.
Falling Down's film.
Okay, Falling Down. Film. Fitzcarraldo.
Film.
Anniversary Party.
It's been a while. Movie.
Magnolia.
Bad movie.
Frida.
Never saw it.
Okay.
Implied film.
Implied film.
Implied film. Gottler. Commando.
Movie.
Monster Squad.
Movie.
Lethal Weapon 2.
Movie. It's close.
Been decaffeinated. Two more. Clue.
Film.
Platoon.
Film.
All right.
Nicely done.
You guys mostly got 'em right.
Great work.
What did you do? Clue?
Yeah.
Film, right?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
Movie. So that's.
I wanted to mark that 1-8.
Huh?
I wanted to mark Clue.
Do
Film.
we have
Any movie
anything?
with
Do we
Madeline
have
Kahn as a
anything?
film?
Do we have anything to mark 8? Do we? If the characters get together in the end, does that automatically make something a movie?
No.
If you have a dance in your
Oh.
film, it's a movie.
Yeah, but don't they have that
That's the
in
market
Beasts of
8.
the Southern Wild? They do like a little dancing.
Oh, there's there's dance in all sorts of movies. This is why I took umbrage with what you
Only the strong. Capoeira.
Oh yeah,
Fighting. That's
movie,
dance.
but
and Rise. Rise is all
Film.
about
Crumping.
yeah, and that's a film. So okay, so nothing to mark 8, but we did find it a 3.5. Yes, a 3.5 Mux movie, and it was universally a movie. So check on the website. It's going to go into our
notes.
It's going to go into our Universal movie, and we're going to move on to David O. Russell's first critically acclaimed and major film, Spanking the Monkey.
Now this isn't a this doesn't fall into a does it hold
this
up.
is not a does it
Most of
hold
us
up.
haven't
This
seen
is
it, right?
just as a
no drop.
Retrospective.
No drop will be
Right.
played.
No. Goddard did not play a drop.
Nice beaver.
So here we go. Here's the rundown. Now this movie, I was told by Pete,
Who owns the DVD that we all watched?
And first of all, we are going to mark this 8 because he owns the DVD that we were all watching. The reason that we had to pass this DVD around was
cannot
because
find
you
it.
cannot find this movie on
Anywhere.
Netflix,
Hard to find.
on your PlayStation box.
Possible sign of a film.
It's so obscure.
And I think you can, if you can't find the movie anywhere, I think it's a film.
That is the good.
I'd be willing to
eight.
mark
That's
that
a
8.
market 8. Yeah.
Mark it 8, dude.
Mark it 8, dude.
All right. So this movie won the Audience Award at Sundance in 1994. It was made partially with grant money, and it's the first movie written and directed by David O. Russell. Raymond, Jeremy Davies, is a promising medical student about to begin a prestigious summer internship, but he returns home, and his callous father informs him that his mom, Susan, I'm sorry, Pete, do you know the actress's name?
No, I
do.
don't.
I looked it up. I'll do it in my
I don't
review.
know her name.
Anyway, he comes home for summer break.
Alberta Watson.
Thank you.
That's it.
So his mom, played by Alberta Watson, has broken her leg, and Raymond has to kind of nix his internship and care for her while his dad goes on a sales trip. The ensuing days are spent struggling to care for her and the family dog,
and masturbate.
because of the dog, and some.
He doesn't have to
Oedipal-
masturbate because of the dog.
No, it's hard to masturbate.
He can't
because of
masturbate
the-
because the dog keeps whimpering outside the door. Some Oedipal urges kick in. Oedipal.
Oedipal.
Oh.
As in Oedipus.
Yep, Oedipus flew too high and his
Oedipus.
wings
That's
melted.
Icarus.
That's
Yep.
Icarus.
No, Oedipus was flying with his mom. I'm going to go first on this one.
Go,
Because I've
go.
never done it. I'm going to give it a 1 Mux film. I think this is a perfect example of a film trying to be a film. My biggest problem with this movie, and now my wife has entered, she also didn't like the movie, which is a whole nother podcast. Like if you're seeing a movie with a spouse or a
Yep.
girlfriend
Yeah.
and they don't like it, it's a hard row to hoe. If
Well, it's tough if one of you liked it and one of you didn't like it. And the one who didn't like it, like with Silver Linings Playbook, wants to spend the car ride railing on it. And the other one is just like, I just liked it. I don't know what to tell you.
This, to me, was a great antithesis to Silver Linings Playbook because in it you have so many dysfunctional characters, none of whom are right for each other, none of whom are helping each other, none of whom are progressing, in my opinion, for the entirety of the movie. Scenes drag on. Whereas in Silver Linings Playbook, you have people that are clearly dysfunctional, clearly have a trouble working through society, but in a weird way, they are actually going to help each other evolve, and you as an audience member get to go on this journey. I didn't care about this kid, played by Jeremy Davies, from the beginning to the end. Like, he seemed like a bit of a whiner. He never really, in my opinion, made any moves to change what was going on with him that summer. And overall, I wanted to stab myself in the balls.
Good cap there.
Okay, so
Should we go to the direct opposite? Right
yeah,
now,
let's go.
point,
let's
counterpoint,
go.
go
Yeah,
to Pete.
absolutely.
Cool.
Go right to Pete.
I give Spanking the Monkey a 5 mucks film. It is probably in my top 5.
Films of all time?
Yeah.
Okay.
I really enjoyed. I think right off the bat, just the general aesthetic is informed, calculated, stripped down.
Okay,
style.
what does that mean? What does that mean, and how does that translate? The general aesthetic is informed. What does that mean?
The cinematography is very, like, all the shots I think are chosen for a very specific reason. There's a lot of I picked up on this when I watched it, but I got more specifics when I watched it with the commentary. But there's a lot of very intentional direction in a lot of camera stuff, like the claustrophobia inside versus the openness of whenever he's out in the field. The dog sort of being this like reminder that, of his responsibilities that he doesn't want to take care of. There's like a quick shot after he has sex with his mother of like these two eggs. You know it from the beginning. Of 2 eggs boiling in a pot. It's like and it's such a quick thing, but it's like these really quick shots of symbolism. I just think he actually calls this a feel-bad movie, and I realize that it's not the easiest thing to watch because it deals with such a gross subject, and it's uncomfortable, but I still found it to be. I just think it's really ambitious and audacious to go after this kind of subject and treat it with a lot of sensitivity. Rather than like making judgments on these people, it's in my top 10. I have more.
Don't you think
it's just bumped up from top 5 to top 10? Are you already starting to doubt yourself?
Did I say top 5? I know I said top 10.
Don't you think judgments are made by the fact that the act doesn't change either of their lives?
Right, but that's
neither of them.
I don't think you need to have characters change necessarily. I mean, that doesn't. I mean, in fact, it's 2 hours. It's people don't necessarily change in life. I mean, I personally think that we change and we don't change, and it's more complicated than that. But I think it's really just an examination, again, dealing with family dysfunction in this really intelligent way that I just don't see very often. I think it's extremely well informed in the way that he made it. And let's see.
The dad is a prick and overbearing at the beginning. He's a prick and overbearing at the end.
Why do people need to overcome? This is a classic cliche movie thing that people need to overcome obstacles.
I think the definition of drama is people involved in change, people that are experiencing things in their life that are forcing them to change in one way or another.
Sure, but that's what I think this is a film.
Okay, all right. Ian, Rob, what you guys?
I guess I'll go.
We watched this side by side.
Yeah,
it should be noted, eating a pizza.
I'm gonna go 3 film.
3 mucks film.
3 mucks film.
Okay, 3 mucks film. Rob, what did you think?
I'm going to give
Rating
it
wise.
2 mucks film.
Now let me give you some specifics here. I did like the dad, even though he was a little bit one note. I thought he played that note the whole time, but again, it didn't bother me. Interesting side note about him: David Bowie's understudy to when Bowie was doing The Elephant Man on Broadway.
Oh wow!
So kind of thing. And he's also now deceased. So this was a
Okay, let's
Wait, the actor has died?
He died. in
Another
06.
note: the dog is also dead now. The dog in the film is probably dead.
Let's
Right.
talk about some of my actual reviews. The moment when he asks his mom, or they're about to have sex, you see this moment coming the whole way. So I was really interested to see how they would handle it, and I was way, way down. I thought it was done in a very subtle, classy, and very real way. When he's giving her that massage and just that look, there's no words. His mom looks at him back, and I thought that look was handled beautifully.
Says everything without saying anything.
Exactly.
It was subtle, but my point is, if that act doesn't then result in something that follows,
It does.
Okay, what for you is that?
From there, then the relationship progresses a little bit, because then he's fighting this. You see him fighting the urge to do it again and again and again, and his mom realizing that she made a mistake and trying to stop him from doing it again and again. And then he brings it up to the dad. His mom tries to get away from saying, "We did this thing," and he says, "No, we did this thing."
I definitely feel like after the act, things change.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's
the atmosphere
necessarily-
is definitely
and you
different.
see that when
He wouldn't have tried to kill himself before.
Right.
He wouldn't have tried to strangle his own mother before.
Right, that's true.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean his weirdness or whatever is exacerbated, but I need to have a character that I can somehow identify with, and from the beginning of this movie, I can't.
I thought Jeremy Davies did a pretty good job of playing a very a character that on the surface seems like he doesn't have a lot to do. You've got a middle-class kid who doesn't seem to have more problems than his internship and going away from the summer and not being able to jerk off in his own house. And from that very simple premise explodes this kind of story like we were talking about with American Beauty, the white-class champagne problems movie, and is able to do some dark comedy with it.
What's funny? Give me a funny moment in this, because
When he tries to hang
this is not a challenge. This is
when he tries to hang himself. I laughed, and his mom bumps.
I think the dad.
when his mom bumps the door
That's
down.
funny.
I think the
laughed
dad.
at
seeing
it.
like the veins on the side of his.
I think
pretty
I
funny.
think the dad is absolutely hilarious. I think that kind of treatment of that character it captures this eccentricity of the kind of parent that some people have. That I thought it was totally
the
genius.
sound of the rack of the magazines that are next to him when he's jerking off, that sound when he's like trying to jerk off with the dog. I laughed at that. I laughed at some of the stuff when all the guys were together in the car. Now, again, some of this was super predictable, like in that when you're watching a Kevin Smith movie in those early 90s movies, this had a lot of that going on where you hear the script, you hear the voice of the author a lot.
Yeah.
And so that to me is always a little bit trying, like it is when I'm watching some Kevin Smith movies. But sometimes the actors step away from the script and make it their own.
Also, this is not he did not intend it to be a comedy. If there's anything funny, I really think it's unintentional. I think it's people are laughing because they're nervous because
I don't know. I feel
they're
like
uncomfortable.
when the dad tells him he can't afford to pay for his college, and they're about to get into it, and then the dog shows up, and he's like clearly cares more about the dog than the son. I thought that's got to be intentional.
I don't. I mean, all I know is like he in the commentary also he said that this guy came up to him after one of the screenings. I don't know if it was at Sundance or whatever, and he's like, "Yeah, man, I really liked your movie. It was like this like really sick comedy, man." He said that he felt like he didn't watch the movie that he made.
Interesting.
And yeah,
Rob, what'd you think?
Real quick, because I know we're probably running short on time. I thought it was a Two Mucks film. I think for me, a movie doesn't necessarily have to have people change or some of the stuff that you're looking for. I don't necessarily need in order to consider it good. My problem with it was I just didn't care about anything.
But that to me is the point. If you don't empathize with a character, just we as human beings, if we don't empathize with who we're watching, we have a harder time going on the
because I was
journey.
thinking about this. So There Will Be Blood, right? Daniel Day-Lewis's character is you don't empathize with him. Regardless of what,
I didn't like that movie.
Okay, all right. Well, I like the movie
You didn't like
even
There Will Be
though
Blood?
I didn't like the main character. This Downfall movie I was talking to Pete about is about the last days of Hitler in the bunker. And he's one of the main characters, but no one's expecting you to side with Hitler. It's just
it's interesting.
It's a
You're
great
watching
movie to
something
watch because a movie like
interesting.
that is like basically just about death and dealing with people that are about to face an inevitable conclusion to what basically reap what they sow. So my point with this is I don't necessarily need, or even like what Pete was saying, like it is an uncomfortable movie to watch at times. there's a lot of movies that I've loved that were uncomfortable to watch that I'll never watch again. Breaking the Waves, I fucking love. I'll never watch that movie.
Again.
I'll never watch
that
movie again in my life.
You still have to admit that it's really good.
But I think unlike that movie, or film, I should say, Spanking the Monkey, for whatever reason, I don't know if it was the choice to have these detached performances. Jeremy Davies, for me, was doing just nothing either way. I don't know. I just didn't. Before he fucked his mom, I didn't care. After he fucked his mom, I didn't care. And for me, I just that's sort of what it comes down to. If I don't care, then
turns out we know the girl next door.
We do. She's
Amanda's.
She's Amanda's friend.
Amanda's friend.
She's Amanda's friend.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well, did she come to my birthday?
Uh-oh.
All right, folks.
and
I think that's going to pretty much wrap it up. Tune in next week when we review Killing Them Softly, and
This
for
is
Does It
huge.
Hold Up, we're going to go back and revisit everybody's favorite college poster, Fight Club.
That is everybody's favorite college poster.
On behalf of Pete, Rob, myself, and even Ian, thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time on Film or Movie.
And it
Sports bra.
No,
moving
there
pitches.
was some funny.
Okay.
There was some funny.
It's minimal.
Don't worry about the funny.
The funny is
Part
natural.
of that's half the reason people are going to be tuning in.
The funny will happen. The funny will.
Well,
Let's
it
go.
can't
Let's
happen
roll.
until we
Let's
review.
go.
So here we
Let's
go.
roll.
Welcome to Film or Movie. Hey there, hi there, ho there.
There it is.
Turn me up.
Yeah, no, you're better now. You're coming in hot.
It's my classical training. Is that a little better?
I do have a nice vibrato today.
No, the vibrato.
Vibrato would be me going.
It's the shudder in the
Wavering.
voice.
Oh well, whatever the chest talk.
Tony's
Nice
musical
tenor.
language is
I'm
not
hearing good test.
on point.
All right, so here we go. I'm going to count it down.
I'm a DJ. I'm not a composer.
3, 2, 1.